Hi, I'm Matthew Jenkinson, and in this video I'd like to show you how Ledger handles periods. So we'll start up Ledger and we'll go to the accounts screen and we'll select the bank account which has some entries in it. Now in our example we've only got a few entries in the account, so it's probably not a lot of point in setting a period. But supposing we've got a few years of data, we may have many entries that we have to scroll up and down, and we might be only interested in the entries for a particular period. It might be the current financial year or the current month. So we're going to use this example to show you how periods work. At the moment we don't have a period because next to period it says all entries. But what we're going to do is set a period, and to do this we'll go to the File menu and select Configure. Now on this screen, on the Workstation tab, we've got a begin period and an end period. So this allows us to specify either one or the other or both, and this means we can have open-ended periods. So we could have a period that has no start date but it ends on a particular date, and vice versa. We can have a period that begins on a certain date but has no end. So the first example will set a begin period date, and we'll make it the 1st of August, and then we click on OK. Now we'll notice on the account screen next to period it's got the date that we've set for the beginning of the period, the 1st of August 2012, and there's no date at the end, which means that we can see in the list all entries from the 1st of August onwards. Now let's go back to our Configure Workstation tab, and we'll unset the begin period and we'll set an end period, and we'll make this the 31st of July. So we'll notice here now that there is no date at the beginning of the arrow for period, and the end period date is the 31st of July. And in the list all we can see are those entries that occur before the 31st of July. And our final example of a period will set both a begin and an end date, and to show you how flexible it can be, we'll make both the beginning and the ending the same date, 24th of August. So now we've got a period that starts on the 24th of August, finishes on the 24th of August. So all we can see in the list are those entries that are dated the 24th of August. And that's really all you need to know about periods and setting start and end dates. Now what I'm going to talk about now I really would prefer you to ignore, because Ledger has been designed to allow you to produce reports for any arbitrary date or period that you choose, and all the information that's entered into the ledger is done in real time on a continuous basis. So what I'm going to talk about now is really for the benefit of accountants who want to do things in the traditional way, the way things used to be done before we had computers. First, let's clear that period that we've got set so that we can again see all the entries in the ledger. Now, if we look at the income statement, we'll notice at the bottom of the income statement we've got our net income. It's showing 23. If we go to the balance sheet, this net income appears on the balance sheet as retained earnings. Now, in our chart of accounts, we don't have a retained earnings account because this value is calculated automatically from the entries that were created in the income and expense accounts. But supposing we want to do a rollover at the 1st of September, this is how we go about it. The first thing we have to do is go to the chart of accounts, and we have to create a new account of type equity, which we call retained earnings. Next, we go to the entries screen, and the 1st of September we create an entry that zeroes all our income and expense accounts. So we will debit the sales account, 300. The electricity account, we credit 57. Materials account is a credit of 220. And the retained earnings account will be what's needed to complete that entry. Now, if we go to the balance sheet, we will notice that we have a retained earnings, which is the automatically calculated value, and we also have our new retained earnings account. So we want to combine these two into a single item on the balance sheet. So we create a group and we call it retained earnings, and then we drag and drop both of these retained earnings items into that group so that they appear as a single item on the balance sheet. That's our retained earnings. And now if we go to the income statement, we will notice that everything is now showing as a 0. We've got all zeros on the income statement, and we're ready to start making entries for the new financial period. And that should keep the accountants happy. Thank you.